Just bought a Proform and struggling with the install. Don't worry, I'll guide you through it. I've installed maybe over 200 Proform products. And yeah, I'm going to start with laying bolt number 33 and bolt 4. And I'm going to put washers on all of them. As you can see, the longer ones I've laid out. And I'm going to also get the wheel. I'm going to start by attaching part 73, which is the longer piece, to the frame. Now the longer bolts go in sideways and the shorter bolts go in the top. As the instructions say in step number 2, you got to put something under the mat to boost it. And as you can see, that's what I've done. Now I'm going to grab the bigger piece, which is part 73. I'm going to drag it over and we're going to commence the install. So as you can see, I'm keeping one hand free and the other side goes the bolts. It doesn't really matter whether you do the side ones or the top ones first. Just be sure that the washer stays on, and also be sure that the wheel goes into the one at the back. I don't tighten everything, I leave it fairly loose, because the problem is if you tighten it too much, right, then you get to the step where you're actually putting on the screen and it can be quite difficult. So I've had success, leaving it loose until the very end. As you can see, I'm just going to tighten all the bolts here with my hands, and then I'm going to move on to the next arm. Here is the tricky part, the part with the wheel. But as you can see, I've done this a few times. The next step, I'm going to do the arm that you have to feed the wire through. This is potentially the most daunting thing to do, because I know, I was not experienced with wires when I first started this. But anyway, you just get the chicken wire from inside the tube, which is part number 72. You undo it and you wrap it a couple of times around. I like to take that little black bit out that I just took out, because every time I put it in it's got stuck and it's just bigger than it needs to be. So I wrap it round about 4 times. Then I feed it in with my bottom hand, and my top hand I actually pull the chicken wire through in the one motion. So my top hand is pulling, but my bottom hand is shoving it in. That way I get it through every time. This particular part, the threading through, you need to be very careful that there's no sudden violent movements that can rip out the cord. Also, they say to do this bit last, but there's a little plug which clips in perfectly, and it's in the same box as the wheels. I find it easiest to do this now. Just make sure when you clip it in, which I'm about to do very shortly, make sure that you clip it in and leave enough wire, at least 15 to 20 centimeters of wire at the very top. If you listen carefully, you should hear me actually clipping it in and then giving a grunt as a sigh of relief. And the next step, I'm just going to go over that step 4 page again, and it's basically, the smaller bolts at the top, the bigger bolts to the side, and the wheel at the back. Once you've completed this step, you can remove that piece of cardboard at the back and get on with the install. Next is part number 69, dinner for 2. It's the stabilizer bar. It slots in between the 2 uprights that we just erected, and basically you attach it with bolt number 2, you need 4 of them, and washer number 6. You tighten it with the Allen key tool provided, which is an imperial size that Australians know nothing about. But yes, you must use that imperial size, and you can tighten these fully. Very nice, powering through, nearly at the halfway point. Next step is to get screws number 14 and attach the cup holders, which is piece number 46. Now, if you're trigger happy with the drill, don't use a drill, use a screwdriver. The cup holders, where they attach, can actually crack very easily. So if you are using a drill, not trigger happy, just a very gentle press does the trick here. Once all 4 of these are on, you'll be ready to move on to the next step, which is removing the bolts at the side that attach it to the main frame. But where's the other screw number 2? I can't find any more screw number 2s. Don't worry, it's pre-assembled in the frame already. Light work. Get your Allen key, undo them, then it is time to place it into the frame. So in preparation for the next step, you need to grab the bolts you just removed, which is bolt 2 and washer 6, and you need to place the screen holder on top of the screen. Now, stop what you're doing. With the wire, be very careful not to pinch it. You can see when I place the screen on, I spend a good, like, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds playing around with the wires, ensuring that when I place it on, they're not in the way of getting pinched. Once it aligns, then I screw the bolts in and tighten them with the Allen key. What I do, I leave them a little loose until they're all in, and then I give them a good crank and secure them properly. What you then need to do is get the screen onto the screen holder, piece 90 to 83, and you need to get the smaller bolts, which is number 7. Again, being trigger happy is not an advantage here. It's got little grooves and it slots in nicely, and then just a gentle press of your drill or a hand screwdriver will do the trick. So the next step, you just need to carefully pull the wires through and rip or cut off that white foam, so when you perform the next step, you can plug it in easily. This next step, you need to get all the 7 screws, which are the smaller ones, and when you slot in the screen like I'm doing here, right, there's like grooves. So you move it, it locks into the grooves. Once it's in the grooves, just screw one screw in lightly. Again, if you tighten it fully, you may crack it, but also I like to leave it a little loose, because if the other screw is misaligned, it's just really easy to align it, just a slight jiggle, and you can realign it and do the rest of your screws. So this next step's all about the wiring. There is little loops just above where I'm playing with now. You need to find them, you need to run the wires through, and you need to plug in each plug, including the earth wire, which is the little green wire. They need to be connected to stop like static electric shocks. And once that's done, the treadmill should have power. Then the oval grommet that's in with the wheels, you need to plug that in so the wires sit flush. Next, you're going to grab the latch crossbar. Now you must remove 3 screws, 2 smaller ones from either side, and the one in the middle with a nut. Remove that. Also, you're going to grab the gas strut, which is like the piston thing, in preparation for the next step. We're going to assemble it all. I'm going to show you how I do this with one person. I grab the treadmill, I put it on my head, I put the latch crossbar in, and then I put the screws so it's solid. I then get the gas strut and I put that in the middle section, and if these are in, I just hand tighten them relatively tightly, but you can generally like put that on the ground, that holds it up. And what I do then is I tighten everything, then the bottom screw, which you have to remove first, I tighten that one up. Now once that's done, the treadmill folds. I leave it unfolded, and the next step, remember I told you at the start of it, I don't like assembling the main frame bolts until the very end. I then do that now. So what I do for the next step, I grab the spanner provided and I tighten all the steps that I did in like step 1 and 2 in the first minute of the video. I then secure all of them till they're fully tightened. So once this is complete, there should be no bolts left over, only covers. I'm going to slide on each cover. You can see in the instructions there. So yeah, left one, right one, and then my treadmill's basically done. So what I'm going to do after I do this, I'm literally going to move it into position and plug it in. Last step is not to make love to the treadmill, but it is to plug it in. I've already positioned it, that's why I'm in that awkward position. I hope this made your life easier. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe.